Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of On the Michael Mike. I am your host, Mike Larkin, and joining me today is an absolute treat to have this amazing guest on. She is the hardcore healer herself, Miss Veronica Caine. How are you, Veronica?
I'm good. Hi. Thanks for having me.
First of all, it's an absolute pleasure. I got to tell you, when you look at what you've done within the world of XPW and wrestling, which we're going to get in today in today's forum, I always say this, man, the better the wrestling is the better the fun. And the reason why I say it like that is wrestling has such a variety. I mean, we see it with WWE, TNA, what WWE is doing with AAA on their YouTube channel. We have so many ways to connect as well as view professional wrestling. I think the more wrestling, the better for people to get work, get the opportunity, get the correct training. I think that's a must in today's society.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I feel like that's the expectation in our culture these days with entertainment in general. We've become a society where, we want a little bit of everything and, we want it when we want it and how we want it. And, we're kind of getting to that point where, you can press a button and you get a different option. So wrestling should be, just like music and films and television and everything else we're doing now, we should have a vast array at somebody's whim when they want to watch whatever option, whatever the mood suits them.
I've always looked at it like this. So growing up on Long Island, New York, one of the big things was, much like anything, I'm a music lover. I love all different genres of music. I get it from my parents. I used to remember back in the day on Long Island, New York, when you would go through the Cablevision and cable channels, right? 52 was VH1, 53 was MTV, 54 was BET, 55 was MTV2, 56 was Fuse. So if you wanted to get like Puddle of Mud or Trust Company and all those bands, you go to MTV2. If you want the pop stars and the TRL and all the variety, you get TRL. If you wanted Korn, you can even go to Fuse. BET gave you all the R&B shows. VH1 gave you the countdown shows. So everything is right at your fingertips.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's bringing back memories. my first job ever was at Tower Records. So,
wow.
Yeah, I'm a Tower Record alumni. I'm a big, when you said you like, a variety of genres, I'm the same. I mean, like, you name it, I probably have some of it in my playlist. So that's awesome.
Well, it's funny because I actually saw, it's one of these nostalgia posts that I follow on Twitter and Instagram. They put up a little photo that says, if you could choose one and you had to get rid of one, which would it would be? And one of them was Tower Records, Circuit City, Best Buy, and all these. And I'm like, yeah, man, I can't get rid of Tower Records and I can't get rid of Circuit City because I live close to it. Circuit City is like, that's a tough one. Like, why would you want to get rid of them anyway? Because that was the best. Like, I remember as a kid going to the Wiz, for those that remember the Wiz, to pick up CDs and stuff everywhere. It was like right in your destination, man.
Yeah. And I'll tell my age if I say it, but when I was a kid and I worked there, I was just freshly 18. It was like the beginning of the vinyl transition to CDs.
Wow.
So it was like, oh, wow, they're making a bunch of room. Like, they're pulling out a bunch of records and they're bringing in these weird little things. I don't know. Like, are they going to be like 8 tracks? Are they going to go away or like what? And they stuck around.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, you also have to look at it from a today's day and age, too. You always wonder what this generation would think of like what we had back in the day with CDs and everything. I know everything's so accessible now with Spotify and YouTube and everything. But I got to tell you, there's nothing like going to pick up your first CD or anything. I feel bad that a lot of the kids nowadays will never understand that feeling and how good it felt to purchase your first CD.
Yeah. Yeah. We still, a lot of people still are, tactile. We want that physical media to touch.
Yep. I'm right there with you. It's like when you get a DVD for the first time and VHS is where all the craze, and then here comes DVD and you're like, you know what? I like watching it better on this disc with the extras than just the normal VHS,
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. But yeah, that is the times, ladies and gentlemen. And speaking of the times, you have given us great times, great moments and memories. We got to talk about XPW here because when you think of XPW, you think of Rob Black. You think of so many amazing people. Chaos, who was on Wrestling Society X and the Santino Brothers School, Wrestling Academy out in Cali. You think of so many amazing people. And I got to ask you, talk about your time in XPW because it was a hell of an alternative for the early 2000s.
I mean, it really was. I think that Rob Black was, grew up as a fan and put himself in the position where he had some income, and the idea probably came to him that, hey, I love wrestling, and I love this like hardcore genre and ECW. I think XPW was at the time sort of the West Coast answer to ECW. So he went out to Southern California, or he was in Southern California, and met up with what I believe was like a wrestling school where all those guys that we know from XPW were all trained and were had a promotion out there. And sort of, I think, absorbed the school and the wrestlers. So homegrown is what I was originally around when it comes to wrestling. It was, all these people that became family that I stayed, close with until now. I talk to many of those people. But yeah, so it was my first experience at like a really like live in-ring wrestling event was an XPW show in SoCal. And I was actually hired to help like promote, to kind of, be cute and promote. And I stuck around to watch the show and just caught the fever. I saw I love like the violence and homeless Jimmy coming out to the ring with his shopping cart full of weaponry. And this was stuff I didn't know wrestling was like that. So it was really exciting. And then seeing what the women that were there were doing, and, something went off to where I thought, I wouldn't mind trying this. I feel like I could do this. And with going to more shows and being around more, I ended up in a position where I started working exclusively with Extreme Associates, Rob Black's adult company that, made him his living, and what funded the boys. And when I did that, then I also started working. And that was a big attraction to wanting to work with Rob, was working for XPW. That was, obviously what kind of enticed me into wanting to be there. And I had the opportunity and the luck to come into kind of a cool role there. There's super cute girls that were working at Christy Mist and Jessica Darlin, Major Guns, like these like real hottie, but they also didn't have a bigger role in the way of like a personality. It was more like they were just really cute, and they would come out and maybe they'd, do something funny or something, take a crazy bump or something. But like, I got the opportunity to become more of a kind of a boss bitch in my own little circle there. So becoming Veronica Caine, the owner and operator of the Enterprise, and then working with the team that I worked with there, which was majorly GQ Money and Chaos. And then people kind of came in and out. TJ Rush, Steve Rosano, and then people would work with us for a show or two, kind of like be, hang out with us. Like we did a match where Sandman was part of it, kind of part of the Enterprise. But yeah, that was a lot of fun because we did the weekly television shows. So because it was a homegrown kind of local group and a lot of people worked in the building, we were able to shoot a lot of fun wraparound skits and stuff that drove the storyline. So if anyone hasn't seen it, XPW TV that was on weekly at the time, it was like an hour long.
Yep. And
it wasn't like the live wrestling shows that you see now when you tune in. It was mostly a lot of this building up storyline and then showing specific matches from recent shows. We ran shows every month or so. And the, some of them would be featured on the show. So it was cool. Like you could catch a little bit of wrestling and a bunch of antics, basically, between the Enterprise, the Black Army, and all the other characters that were a part of it. That's one thing I'm grateful for, and it was a valuable experience to like basically be on television every week and sit around and wait your turn to shoot something. And a lot of like camaraderie there, and getting creative together, coming up with jokes, or how are we gonna tell this story. So yeah, it was really, really great times.
I will say this first and foremost. You want to talk about all the hotties back in the day, and shout out to Tylene Buck, Major Guns. This one over here felt the animals. My goodness gracious, back in WCW and around that time, my goodness. But I
Yeah.
gotta tell you, you're still rocking it too, Miss Boss Bitch. You still got the boss bitch in you. I see you. I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
That
I guess it just came naturally.
But no, I have to say, from seeing your work and seeing what you did with the Enterprise, you guys got like Chris Hamrick there, and you have so many people from Chaos, like you mentioned, being involved with the Sandman, even with what he's gotten to do through the ECW auspices. And I think that homegrown camaraderie, like you mentioned, in community, you're also kind of bringing in people who are seeing what they're doing on the main roster, or women who may just know what, like from wrestling, with as far as women's wrestling goes, you had gorgeous ladies of wrestling in the 80s, which also influxed pop culture. And that was cool, but you're never seeing women much like this in this overall extremity being like this boss bitch or what have you. I think you guys really set the tone for what we would see a mere 26 years later. You have to set the creativity and uniqueness apart.
Yes, yes, definitely. That was, like I said, it was, privilege. I feel like I got lucky, but I also feel like maybe there was a trust in, level in my, ability to kind of handle that back then. And that, kind of gave me the confidence going forward to, now sort of step up, and into, what it is that I've been doing lately. Even though there was a big gap there, it was in my blood. So once I got a taste of it and realized, hey, I think I'm going to jump in this. I'm going to run away with the circus again for a while. Just kind of what it is. Yeah, I was just like, oh, I got this. I can do this. I just need to figure out, like, wiggle in where I feel like I have something to offer.
Well, I think the best part about anything with wrestling and having something to offer and building that confidence is don't waste time. I think with the moments that you got being on TV, you definitely made the most of your time. And I got to tell you, one of my favorite feuds of that time, and I've seen footage of her for many years, and someone who a lot of wrestling fans know widely, Lizzie Borden. And I'm not talking about that Lizzie Borden. I'm talking about the wrestler Lizzie Borden. God dang it, man. Y'all had some great cat fights and bouts with one another. Those are very entertaining.
Yeah, we did. We're still very good friends. Yeah, we had the buck naked match, which is in true Enterprise fashion. We burned the fans with the lights going out just as I was stripped of my last garment. And then we, obviously we had some other things occur, but wrestling wise, the raw sewage match was, I think, the highlight for me of like actually kind of getting out there and showing my moves. But yeah, no, Lizzie's amazing. She's still creative. She's still, living life by her own rules, which I love. And she was, to me, the better of the athletes of a lot of like the women that I saw doing the active kind of valet work that we were doing, taking the bumps and all that the girls were doing in ECW and XPW at the time.
I don't know, I'd have to agree. I think when you look at that time period too, I mean, you had your Dawn Maries and your Francines in ECW and your Lizzie Bordens and yourself included, and so many amazing women. I think what was so cool about this time period as well is, mind you, this is around the time where we saw a lot of the real deal sex appeals and the overall assumption of the external beauty and internal beauty, and women just finally getting the time that they have many years later. But I think this time period of this balls to the wall, as it was early 2000s, really set the tone for where we are in 2026, which we're going to get into now. But god dang it, man, that really did bring back a lot of great moments and memories. So for that, I will say thank you and everyone involved in that.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Running into fans who whenever they discovered XPW and come to me and go, oh, I watched all the videos or whatever. But especially the fans that were live at the shows when I returned and went down to Southern California a few years back. It felt so cool to see fans from 20 years prior, like, that were like so excited because they used to turn their TV on to channel 100 and whatever to get the the cable access show, or, you know, or they actually were fans that were able to make it to the live event. So there's something really cool about knowing that, like, you know, I existed somewhere for someone, you know, without knowing it, and then they tell me about it later. So kind of
Oh, well, evoking emotions and eliciting reactions is definitely in the job, and you certainly did. And it's glad to see what you're doing now in 2026. And I got to tell you something: seeing your work and seeing what you're doing now, I got to say the Hardcore Healer is probably one of my favorite names of anything that goes into professional wrestling. I think it's so cool. You rock the nurse attire and everything. It's badass, man. I got to tell you, I love the marketing strategy.
Oh, thank you. It all kind of goes together, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and that's been a blast. Yeah, it's work, you know. I mean, it's work depending on how much death matching is going on when I'm helping at a show. Now I'm usually at X brand shows when that's the case, but you know, occasionally I'll be somewhere else. And like last year, I'm going to show up at Tournament of Death with all my stuff because it's a lot. You know, deathmatch tournaments specifically are a lot when it comes to like the nursing. So, I mean, to me, you could have two people probably, like checking people out, cleaning people up, you know, closing stuff up and moving them down the conveyor belt for the next set 20 minutes later or whatever. But it was, you know, where I saw a need and a niche and a way to, like, you know, help people, but also, yeah, I do market myself that way. I'll go to events as well with, I've got like a basket and I stuff it full of gauze and disinfectant and tape and bandages and wraps, and I put my little stickers on them, whatever. Like, you know, I want people to know, like, hey, I got you, I got your back, you know. And I don't know, I enjoy it as well. So I'm going to keep doing it for, you know, as long as I'm having fun doing it.
Absolutely. And you definitely not only add to the presentation, I think you'll appreciate this pop culture reference. I've always said this: when you look at some of the amazing nurses, especially this one over here with the Hardcore Healer vibes, I think I'll make you smile with this one. Remember as a kid and you're watching TRL and What's My Age Again comes on and all the small things? Think of the nurse on the cover of the Blink 182 Enema of the State album. My goodness gracious. For those that remember that nurse, it kind of gives me vibes about that. And I mean that in utmost sincerity, respect. You definitely rocked it.
Yeah, no, I mean, we sort of went for that look in a way. I mean, well, I like the costume. I did a shoot with RJ from Red Shoes Media. I don't know, he's like a photographer that does a lot of great work in wrestling. And you know, to me, like, it was a pretty iconic shoot. We did it down at Graffiti Pier here in Philly, and he told me do the glove shot, you know. So I had the outfit on and I'm snapping the blue glove, you know, and I'm like, oh, I'm like Janine Linda Mulder, I think is how you say her name, the lady that was on the front. She was she worked in the adult entertainment field too. So it was kind of cool to see her on like a mainstream album cover.
Absolutely. And I think from what you're stating there in that photo that you did so well is also, it's one of those things too, where we see a lot of great modeling from the imagery standpoint and how you market yourself within around the shows and on camera, because there's a bunch of moving heads when it comes to professional wrestling, and having said production and presentation all come into the fold. I think what I love about X Brand Wrestling is you get that overall balance. It's like, okay, we can get hardcore and do some death stuff here, but we also have so many great wrestlers out here who could do it up. And I think that's one of the best thing in wrestling. You need story, you need great matches, but you also need a perfect balance between the two. And that just really highlights and exudes and accentuates the promotion.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, a little bit of everything. You know, the right amount of good athletics and, you know, enjoyable wrestling, and then your wacky gimmicks and your added spice with some stylized weaponry. And I mean, it doesn't take that many key ingredients to do it, but to do it right takes the effort. So that's what we're trying to do right now.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I look at it from a stance like this. I remember as a teenager, I went into FYE, and this is the first time I'd ever seen like this type of DVD. So you have your normal wrestling DVDs and you have like your bodybuilding DVDs. There was one DVD that they had, I believe it was actually an FMW DVD, and it had all Japan and it had all the women doing death matches. And mind you, this is the first time when you're a teenager and you see what the product and how they're featuring women at the time, and you see the proverbial crimson mask on these amazing Japanese ladies and their talons that they did over in Japan. I think it's so cool now just to see not only the evolution of deathmatch wrestling, but I think the fact like not only is there something for everybody, but what I've always enjoyed about deathmatch wrestling, not only is it an art, but wrestling has its violence, it has its overall storytelling, it has its poetry. You're pretty much giving your unsung story to wrestling while also just painting your canvas at the same time, and it has such a great mix to what you're trying to tell with the story.
Yeah, painting the picture, because it is truly art. I mean, wrestling in general, on through the different types. But we say frequently that deathmatch is an art. There's something about it that's just connects you with people. I feel like on a different level. So every show, every performance, I guess, in my mind is, it is art. So enjoy being able to watch it that way when I want to, and be a part of it and find like a place there.
I always make the joke, think of like the high school reference. And I've always said this, like growing up and at the age I'm at now, 34, I always look at it from a stance like this. And I mean, there's more in life to live. It's another day, another blessing when it comes to this thing called life that we call Miss Veronica. And I always look at it from a stance like this. I was the kid in high school that got along with anybody. It doesn't matter if you had tattoos or you painted your fingernails like the proverbial goth, or you're the jock or whatever you are, whatever class that you want to fit into. I've always looked at it like this. You have to look at people like this, and also the reciprocation factor of giving people respect and love for what they do. So if you're a deathmatch person, you got the tattoos, you kind of fit the proverbial outcast slash misfit role. I think that definitely overrides overall the coolness to it, because you can have the stuffed up jocks that think their shit don't stink, but when you go see the misfits and the outcasts that want to let their creative juices flow in and just be themselves, I think the authenticity and realness really shines through.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's my favorite group of people to be around.
Absolutely. And I just had Mickey Knuckles on the show not too long ago. Mickey Knuckles is another one that stands out because you mentioned the Tournament of Death. Y'all got some great Tournament of Death shows coming up. I think it's going to be great to really see a lot of the talent come in, because every Tournament of Death, there's something different, but they definitely raise the stakes.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm excited for that this year. And then a couple weeks after that, we'll be in Texas. X Brand and She's Hardcore will be Houston bound. So September is a busy month for people that lust for blood.
I like how you put that. First of all, put that on a t-shirt, Lust for Blood. I like your style. No, I look at it from a
We
stance.
did a show called Bloodlust a couple Octobers ago. It was fun. It's great.
Well, shout out to that. And I think, I mean, you got Peace, Love, and Deathmatch with the Anthrax was doing. You guys got Alex Stretch and everything. Like that right there. Yes. And I've always looked at it like this. Lance Hoyt, when he was in WWE, and obviously he's in AEW now, when he was the Vance Archer character, one of his staples of his catchphrases was like, I create not masterpieces, but disaster pieces. And that line always stuck with me, because I'm like, that's literally what you're doing when you're going in the ring, kicking ass, taking names. It's your disaster piece instead of your masterpiece.
I like that.
Stuff like that sticks, because I think what's so cool about it even as well, I think when you look at the outcast, the misfit, however you want to define it, we have a day and age now where JCW, with what they're doing with the Juggalos and ICP and Jasmine St. Clair's there, Vince Russo's book, and you have so many people there, like that's taken off. A lot of people are even just going over there that we've seen on the indies that have been on multiple television shows. Like we say, there's something for everybody, but they're really amping up with their storylines in their own right.
Yeah, I've noticed that lately. They're popping up a little bit more, which is great.
Absolutely. And I think it's one of the cases too, and I think you can agree with me on this. Like you mentioned the adult side of things, of what Rob Black had envisioned as well with music and wrestling, and how he kind of blended everything together. I think in today's day and age, there's always that fan base, and nostalgia is one hell of a drug, as they say. It's definitely something that really everybody loves, much like we were talking about at the beginning of the show with Tower Records and all that. But I think a lot of people just want that nostalgia. They want that old flavor of the Attitude Era back, kind of mixed with like what we've got in the Monday Night Wars era. So there's a lot of people that just want to see a little bit more than what we're we're getting that we may not be getting on the Netflix era of WWE or even what AEW is producing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's obvious. I think it's evident by the reactions that happen when you do see things get a little bit gory. I noticed that, oh, wow, that was a really bloody match on AEW or something. And then I'm like, oh, they keep on coming, don't they? Like, they wouldn't be doing that unless the people were excited about it. So I'm like, okay.
Well, it's a thing of, like, as they say, red makes green, because a little color makes a lot of money, if you know what I'm saying. And again, it's one of those things too. I've always looked at it like this. I mean, you could get the safety process of it and the protocols and everything, but it's like when you watch a Hell in a Cell match and there's no blood in it. Like, mind you, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre was accidental with an accidental color, but I'm like, God dang it, man! How can you not watch a cage match and have that proverbial crimson mask? Because that's really what makes it the ultimate grudge match.
Yeah. And I think probably initially, like, that's what we were supposed to buy into. The first time people, bled, and it wasn't just from being punched in the face in a boxing match or something.
Right.
I'm sure it was probably could have been accidental, or, hey, ticket sales are down at the carnival this year. Like, we got to do something new. But they probably made it a lot more believable as far as, like, oops, wow. When I rammed his head into the turnbuckle, it really, I'm sure it was more shocking than now, where we go and sit down, as deathmatch fans, and we're like, if you're not bleeding in the first 5 seconds, like, what are you even doing?
And I've always used the theory too when the criticisms come in, because I say, look at it like this. I always name 2 wrestlers off the jump. Jon Moxley, the former Dean Ambrose, who's doing his thing now in AEW. Jon Moxley can wrestle, but he can also get down and dirty with the deathmatch style. Look at Brody Lee, aka Luke Harper. God rest his soul. The man can wrestle. He was a great tactician, but God dang it, man, he could get bloody with the best of them. So it's not just like slice and dice. There's a story to how we build up to said slice and dice.
Right. Yeah. I like the story.
Agreed. And it's one of those things too. I mean, look at Mick Foley, for God's sake. And I mean, I'll take it back 22 years to everybody. When Mick Foley's literally punching himself because he's so mad that Randy Orton spit on him, and he's busting himself wide open, that led to really getting Randy Orton over in their match at Backlash 04. Like, you can't teach that. And if you can't learn something from Mick Foley, who's done the death matches with Terry Funk and the death matches at FFW, the man lost an ear, for God's sake. Like, then who can you learn from, right?
Yeah, seriously.
But that's the beautiful art form of it. And I think what X Brand Wrestling is doing, and all these amazing brands. I mean, also, you mentioned going to Texas. And I mean, when you think of the history of Texas, you think of world-class championship wrestling. One of the most bloodiest feuds, but one of the most iconic feuds, was the Von Erichs and the Fabulous Freebirds, Michael P.S. Hayes and all of them, and Terry Bam Bam Gordy and everybody. Like, that right there, when you think of blood wrestling and blood feuds, Texas is the spot.
Okay. Well, it's gonna be the spot on September 18th and 19th. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Honestly, I cannot wait to see what comes up with those events. I think you guys are doing an amazing job. And I got to tell you something, 20 plus years later, seeing what you're doing and seeing all these amazing towns are doing, I got to say the journey's worth taking, and I can't wait to see what your journey takes next for you.
Yeah, no, thank you. This, like I said, this upcoming month is big. So, it's, obviously it's my first time kind of sponsoring a full event. I can't really call myself like interested in being in the business of being a wrestling promoter. So I'm just, I got my training wheels on. I'm doing a double header with X Brand, Wicked 13 full blown deathmatch tournament. So I'm really excited because we are painting that picture. We're getting ready for dropping some more announcements next week. Actually, a couple of really amazing ones. Some little secrets and surprises that we have coming. But yeah, right now, like, I'm really excited to be like putting together matches and getting creative and just keeping that fire going.
I got to say, it is a hell of a transition, but I think if there's anyone who can do it, you can. And I know we're going to be in for a hell of a card.
We are. We absolutely are. Yeah.
And I will say this. One of the things I also have to bring up to you, first of all, if y'all have not checked out She's Hardcore and the brand, I got to tell you, number one, love the t-shirts. Number two, love everything about it. But I think what's so cool about it, because when people think of the term hardcore, you think of deathmatch wrestling, you think of the hardcore plunder style. But I think also hardcore because when you think of professional wrestling, there's a lot of sacrifice and there's a lot of everything that goes into it. So it has so many universal meanings and it definitely fits and suits it very well.
That's, kind of why I chose it, because it to me, it represents, like, even outside of wrestling, obviously, like, hardcore music, or, things that were a little bit like you would look at it and go, oh, that's hardcore, whether it's, some sort of art or film or music, or, what be it. I would have people, say that to me about certain things, like, oh, you drink, straight whiskey, you're hardcore. Like, it just kind of stuck in my mind. And to me, like, the brand encompasses more than wrestling. It's just like, if I would ever look at, something that a chick is doing, I love, like, roller skating, the girls that do it in the bowls, like, on the ramps and stuff, with the skateboarders or whatever. And I'm like, they're hardcore, like your roller derby girls, and, just chicks out there doing cool stuff and, like, getting crazy, running away with the circus.
It kind of reminds you when your buddies are like going to the skate park and they start filming themselves doing like the 540s and everything, and then one of them nails like this gnarly trick, or he just falls and then you see like his knee is all scraped up. It reminds me of those like group of kids that would just film themselves and then you see like the bloodiness ever coming from the skate park, or just having that overall fun. It kind of has that cool vibe to it, very chill.
Yeah.
And I got to say, also adding to this point, I think what's so cool about it is, first and foremost, I got to ask you this, because as I'm looking at you and I see the badassery that you got going on here, I'm a big fan of tattoos. I have one on my arm dedicated to my grandfather, who passed away when I was 9 years old, and it's something that I wanted to get right out of high school. I knew it's one of my first tattoos I wanted to get. So I got to ask you, the body's the temple, and it's also an art form in its own right, like we've really highlighted throughout this interview. But I got to ask you, what are some of your favorite tattoos? Because I got to tell you, even just by looking them here on this screen, they definitely look badass and, dare I say, hardcore.
Yeah, well, and she's hardcore. So, like, this arm is pretty much dedicated to deathmatch and hardcore, I would say, and some of the ladies that you might recognize that do it. And I got a little of the katakana that says deathmatch, with your shattered glass here and my X brand logo. I don't know how well you can see that is Lindsay Snow.
Yeah, shout out to Lindsay Snow. Oh my goodness, yes.
And this is Sage Sense Cream, right?
Yep.
And there's Blue Dark.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so that was kind of something, because I like goddesses and stuff. I have this is getting color in a few weeks, but I've got a really pretty Grim Reaper here with a coffin on this side. And there's a banner. There's like part of it here and part of it on this side. I think that's all of it. Yeah. Actually, in the coffin's going to say Philly on it, but in the katakana, it's going to say Philly.
I love that.
But yeah, and so on the banner, I'm getting choose death. So on the when he does the color, I'm going to have him fill in the banner with the lettering choose death on this arm with the coffin and stuff. So yeah, it's been an art project since I moved to Philly, basically covering up some old tattoos that were kind of small and sad looking, and getting some bigger pieces. And yeah, people always say, oh, what are those going to look like, when you get older? And I'm like, just wait. I just got them when I got older, and now they'll age, with me to the coffin. So.
Hey, I'm right there with you. I've always said this. I think if there's any other tattoos that I want to get on my body, I made that decision as I get older. I would definitely want to get 2 or 3 more pieces. One in dedication to my father, one in dedication to my mother, and one in dedication to my grandmother, God rest her soul. So
that's very sweet.
Well, that's my thing too. I think when I was a kid, all right, it's funny, and I'll go on this side of it. So I think because I grew up in a Catholic household, and mind you, I'm very spiritual when it comes to things. So I definitely wanted to get a tattoo of a cross. So on this arm, if y'all can see that, that says sanctified. So sanctified means to be blessed, as I put it back there. Yes, there you go. And on this arm right here, this is where I have the dedication to my grandfather. It says in loving memory of Vance. So I got like a heavenly piece there. So I've always looked at it from a stance of not only is the body a temple, but it's also having them remembrance. So if you look on their arm, that they're right there, because everything has meaning to it. So if you could paint your body like this or get sleeve or whatever, there has to be something meaning to it. And we can definitely see with what you showcase, definitely has a lot of meaning and symbolism.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I've got a big Kali Ma tattoo on my hip too. That's another like you see. So like you are very like dedicated and honoring your family, and that's sweet. I'm just like I'm gonna put a bunch of angry women on my.
That's fine. Hey, you know what it is too? It's so funny that we mentioned this. Okay, so opposites on that spectrum, but also still very cool. And I dig it. I love it. I've always been someone, and I'll say this: my first girlfriend I ever had, bunch of tattoos, not like those, but had similar, very much with meaning and like different writing. But I got to tell you something. I remember a girl I graduated with, and where we lived, the tattoo parlor was right around the corner from my house. So where I grew up in Islip Terrace, Long Island, John's Tattoo was a very popular hangout spot and was right around the corner from where I lived. This girl that I knew actually got a tattoo on her lip, like right here, and it said princess. And I'm like, all right, if that's your first tattoo, go for it. Rock on.
She's hardcore.
Very much. Hey, yes, very much so. Oh, my goodness. But I still remember her.
You want a deathmatch tidbit, factoid here. This is Persephone. So there's a Greek myth. She's the goddess of spring, and you can see my California poppies and little bumblebee and stuff. And she eventually eats pomegranate. So this is like a heart, but it's got pomegranate seeds coming out of it. Mm-hmm. She eats a pomegranate, and it gets her stuck in the underworld and becomes this kind of like underworld lady. This was done by the deathmatch wrestler Schlack.
Yes, I know who Schlack is. Okay.
So like a bunch of stuff going on here. You know, yeah, it's kind of a theme.
Well, first off, shout out to Schlack, man. Schlack is amazing. For those who've not checked out his work, criminally underrated. He does an amazing job with what he does. Absolutely. Also, since you did show Lindsay Snow, I have to say this. If y'all have not checked out Lindsay, first of all, great talent, great person, great wrestler. But I got to tell you, every photo, every match, it's something different. The Crimson Mask and everything. You want to talk about hardcore. Lindsay Snow has really upped it over these last few years.
Yeah. I'm bummed because I had her booked on the Drop Dead Gorgeous show on September 19th in Houston, and she's been working with an injury for a long time, and she finally got surgery scheduled for it. So I missed the cutoff, so she's out, but it's one of these days. Her and I are friends. She's stayed with me here when she came for WrestleMania when it was in Philly. Obviously, I wouldn't just like tattoo some random. But yes, her crimson mask is amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the artist that did this was like straight from a photo, and if you saw it, you'd be like, oh yeah.
I think you're making me laugh now just thinking about just doing something random. I have flashbacks of Tattoo Nightmares and all the Ink Master shows back in the day on Spike TV, as it was known. My goodness gracious, yes, those were a hit for like season upon season. You had different tattoo shows. It was nuts. Oh my goodness!
There's a long period of time where I still don't really watch television. I stream stuff or whatever, but after about like 2008, I don't, especially the news. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know.
First of all, no offense taken on anything. Like, that's awesome. Because I'll be honest, I feel the same way. I have a Roku TV, so if you just give me like streaming stuff on the TV or over here, and it's depressing because I grew up on a family. I mentioned growing up on Long Island, like Eyewitness News was everywhere. ABC channel. I can tell you the people on there and everything because it wasn't as it is now. But I'm just like, I can't watch the news. I'm tired of hearing death. I'm tired of this. I'm just tired of everything because there's too much drama in this world, Veronica. There's too much drama in this world.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I reached my saturation point with that, with stress and whatever. So um, I try to avoid it all. Just let people do what they
People,
need to do and stay in my lane, and uh, try to do what brings me joy every day, because you're not promised tomorrow, are you?
absolutely. And I always say this, people are going to people, number one. I think it's the best way to summarize it. But also, number two, there, you have to stay positively proactive in this thing that we call life. Because at the end of the day, too, if you succumb and just really take in all the negativity in your surroundings, then you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to be stuck in like your own personal vortex of just filth. It's like, why do you want to be stuck in filth when you can cleanse your soul and go out there?
Yes. Yeah.
Truth is truth, folks. We all definitely need to see that wisdom because it's true. There's a lot of hard times out there, but god dang it, man, y'all are going to get through. Please, mental and physical health is so important.
Yeah. Get in the right vortex.
Yes, I can't. I just pulled that out of my ass. I'm not even going to lie, but it's so true. The vortex, baby, the vortex.
Yeah. Manifest.
Ah, yes. And I will say this when it comes to manifestation, y'all. Veronica Caine is definitely doing her thing, and so many of these amazing letters. I saw Pinky, I saw Sammy Chaos doing her thing out there. She just did her thing in Japan. Man,
Yeah.
there's so many great women, and it's being a part of the X Brand Wrestling, from models, from everybody doing so many eclectic work. Definitely something you should check out. And dare I say, not only support pro wrestling, support indie wrestling, and support all forms of wrestling, including deathmatch wrestling, and so many of the amazing talents in it. Veronica, I got to tell you, talking to you, it's nothing but a blast, and it's simply a pleasure. I'd love to have you back for a round two.
I'm absolutely down for that. Yeah, it was great talking to you. I would be remiss if I did not tell you
Hit me.
that the shows that we're doing in Texas on specifically on the 19th. So Drop Dead Gorgeous and X Brands Wicked 13 are both going to be streaming live on IWTV. So I'm actually just about to drop that announcement. I think I'll drop that when I get off here to make sure people know. If you can't make it out to Houston, but if you can, it's going to be amazing. We've got, like I said, a couple of announcements up and coming, and I will give you an exclusive.
Okay.
If you're interested.
Hit me.
On Drop Dead Gorgeous, there will be a wild card match. So we're going to start at 4 p.m. and Wicked's going to start at 8. There's going to be a wild card match on the Drop Dead Gorgeous show, and the winner of that match is going to be the 13th entry into Wicked 13. So you guys are only going to get 12 until the day of, and then you'll know who the 13th entrant will be. So we'll drop that match card maybe late this week, I think.
Okay. All right now.
Yeah, so that's going to kind of tie that all together. You can watch, obviously, like any of the X Brand stuff on their YouTube channel. And X Brand is also selling tickets to the Houston show on Big Cartel. I think, just click on any graphic and it's on there, the QR code and stuff. But I think it's X Brand Wrestling, Big Cartel, something. You'll figure it out.
Links will be in the description for X Brand's YouTube, for the X Brand Instagram, where you can see Drop Dead Gorgeous and so many of these amazing events, and of course where it will be streamed as well, so everybody could go there. I definitely know yours truly will definitely be streaming it. I cannot wait to watch the nights of action. And before, yeah, of course, you know what it is too. It's so funny. Like, you want to talk about how simple my phone is, besides having like friends and family and my contacts and the normal stuff, I'll just have like random apps of social media because we need it to promote all this good stuff. But also, just like, I have the Fight app, I have an MMA TV Live or a wrestling app, just so I can keep up with the cards, because I gotta say, if y'all, I mean, plus it's cheap for the subscription, so just go anywhere and support everybody, man. There's a lot of stuff to really be streamed and watched. It's the wave of the future, so to speak.
Yes, combat entertainment is like, it's hot.
It is.
I also have one thing I need to say. We have a dear friend and a dear fan who we absolutely love and adore here in the Philly area, who's going through some health stuff right now, and he's in the hospital. And so I just want to shout out to Papa Large. Anybody who was in Texas met Papa Large last time X Brand was out there. He's a character, and we love him, and we just wish him good health and get him out of there so he can come to our next show.
Papa Large, shout out to you. Speedy recovery, nothing but well wishes and nothing but good health, my friend. Get well soon. Oh, my goodness gracious. I got to say, I love that. Now, I got to say this before we close this. I will make it on a happy note. And again, shout out to Papa Large and get well soon. But God dang it, man. I love asking this question because you gave a lot of great pearls of wisdom, so to speak, and a lot of great knowledge on the audience today and everybody that checks out this fine program. I always love asking this question as a two-parter. Number one, what are some of the things that you're grateful for? Now, Veronica, this could be within life in itself or what you've done within your tenure and deathmatch wrestling and wrestling as a whole. And number two, what advice would you give to a lot of the amazing females or anybody who wants to get into said professional wrestling?
So as far as what am I grateful for?
Yes, ma'am.
I try to stay grateful as much as I possibly can for every single thing that I can. Every day my feet hit the floor, I try to be grateful. But on a, obviously more significant level, I would say the relationships with, particularly like right now, what would be on my mind or my heart or whatever would be my relationships that I've formed in the last few years that have kind of lifted me. Moving across the country and not knowing a lot of people and kind of not knowing what my plan was, and working with people like Justin Valencia, I'm not just working with, but being, supported and having people trust me and feel confident about having me around and seeing value in what I have to offer. Like, for every naysayer or 10 naysayers, there's one good person out there that makes it worthwhile. So truthfully, it's those connections. I'm one of those people that I try. None of us are perfect at it, but I try to be grateful for anything I could be grateful for. The older you get, the more it's like, it's the little things. What advice would I give? You said like particularly like a young lady or someone or
anyone who wants to get into wrestling. Could be women as well as male. Right. Anyone who wants.
I would say don't be true to yourself. Don't just grab at what looks shiny in front of you right now. Play checkers, not chess. Think about the choices that you make. And whether or not it brings you happiness. I know a lot of people are really focused on being over and being successful and being, the hot ticket and, are success oriented and focused, which is understandable. But if you're not having fun or if you don't feel good about it, then be true to yourself, be patient, let things come when they should come. Follow your path of least resistance to your greatest joy. That's like the main thing that I would say is don't just grab at, they say there's a term like stepping over dollars to pick up dimes. And it's people that don't realize the value of certain, connections they could have made or, forks in the road where they could have, been a little more patient about things. Don't just grab at what looks great right away. Think about it, talk to people, educate yourself, do your research.
Beautifully and eloquently said. Definitely adhere to those amazing words by Miss Veronica Caine. And I look at it from a stance too, and even to add on to your point, I think in today's day and age, not only do we need people to expand their horizons and just be more accepting and be more loving to people, but I think in today's day and age as well, there's so much stuff out there. Expand, watch it, enjoy it. And if anybody comes at you, pretty much just tell them to kick rocks, and to put it in the bluntest of terms. And I mean that sincerely, because nowadays people are just going to be flapping at their gums. But hey, if you like something, you believe something, and you're passionate in what you do and what you love, just tell them to kick rocks and just focus on you, and everything will suffice.
Wise words.
It's true, and I've always believed that, and that goes with anything, not just wrestling or just music and anything. Like if people are gonna like shit talk you or shit on you for shit, at the end of the day, too, one of the funniest things I've learned is if you're in high school, you went to school with these people, and then you meet them in life, you're gonna have one of two options. Number one, they're gonna mature and they're gonna be better than were, or number two, they're still gonna be their assholey selves and they peaked. It's like that scene in Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Excuse me, officer. Let me take a guess. You were a big asshole in high school and everyone went to college and you went nowhere. So you thought to yourself, hey, how can I still give them shit? Oh, I know. I become a cop. Well, congratulations. Your dreams have had to come true. I've seen Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle too many times.
Sounds like
it's a classic. Did you hear that they're actually coming out with another one? Like they've done like 3. I think they're coming out with another one either this year. They're starting production for it. It's crazy.
Yeah, no. So there's how many of them are out? 2, 3?
So there was Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, The Escape from Guantanamo Bay, and the one that they did around Christmas. It was a Christmas-oriented one.
Okay. I think I just saw one of them. Probably the first one.
Oh, the one with Neil Patrick Harris and
this is a franchise that you recommend I catch up on.
Okay.
Before the next one comes out.
Yep, you definitely have to. The first one was the one where Neil Patrick Harris was like snorting coke and tripping balls while they're all trying to get the like. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a classic. It's definitely a classic for those that never seen it. And I can't even believe as I'm like I'm doing that. It's like, can you believe that first one came out in 2004, 22 years later? It's crazy. Like it's really crazy just to see how time flies, right?
Yeah, we're spiraling the drain. I'm spiraling.
No, you stop that. I will say
the years get faster and faster every year. I'm like, where'd that one go?
Yep. Well, first and foremost, don't even apologize because you didn't tell you, because I still got to tell you, you still look awesome. You still look amazing. And I truly mean that. You're very welcome. So if y'all want to check out Veronica, check out the Lizzie Borden matches from back in the XPW days. Check out X Brand Wrestling. Just check out She's Hardcore and everything she does. And, ma'am, I'm going to step back because ladies first. It's not just a Queen Latifah song. Where can we follow you on the social media fronts? The floor is yours.
My social medias are pretty much Instagram. Look for She's Hardcore. I also, I'm also She's Hardcore on Facebook. I'm on the Twitter, but like I said, I don't do much with that. And I also have a YouTube channel. There's not much on it, but you can still check it out because it does actually have the blood culture stuff on it, which is another little side project that I do with my friend Josh Alba, where we do, I don't know if you've seen the Mickey Knuckles Scar Tours.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's basically blood culture is more around just entertainment. So different art forms and, whatever, where blood meets culture. So we're doing kind of a series of those scar tours where people sit down and just talk about, some of their scars. We got a few of them that are kind of sitting right now until we get a full season in the can, and then we're gonna do something with it. I'm not sure. Put it on the maybe IWTV. I think you could see the first one on the first two, Mickey Knuckles and Hardcore, the wrestler Hardcore. But we've shot a few other people for it where we just haven't put out yet. But yeah, so Blood Culture Productions is also on both Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, She's Hardcore everywhere, all over the place.
Links will be in the description down below. And I do have to ask, anything on the Twitter front, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it now, anything on that?
Not one. I have to get better about posting there. I know it's a probably better platform for me to be posting some stuff on. I've just had this conversation now a couple of times, so maybe it's just time thanks. You give me just a little bit of a push. I do. It's She's Hardcore, I think. I have to look it up.
Don't even worry about it. It's so funny that we're even talking about this because I've had several guests and every one of them are unique and amazing, much like this guest right I have right here, ladies and gentlemen. I've always said this because a lot of people will even forget, because here's the thing. There's a lot of social media out there to be on, and it's crazy, especially if MySpace comes back. Even the news, I have they want to bring MySpace back. I mean, I swear to God, we're taking the time machine back to 06. That's what we're doing.
It's wild. It's really wild. I'm like, is my page still there? Like, will it just pop back up as the way it was? It was like pink and black and cute.
Do you
Yeah,
even remember?
I have a .com as well. I do have a sheshardcore.com, which we've sort of built. I think it's cute, but it's not really doing much. But I will probably have links to everything on there too. So if you guys want to check out She's Hardcore,
Links will be in. Links will be in the description. Now I gotta ask you, as a sidebar, since we were talking about like pop culture stuff with music and your playlist, do you even remember what was on your MySpace playlist back in the day?
I don't. I don't.
Okay, fair enough. I've just figured I'd ask because 2006 was definitely a time. I think mine was a mixture of, I think I had Korn on there. I had a lot of different rock ones. I actually, it's probably a song that nobody should be singing when you're 15. I had Pretty Ricky on the Hotline, which was a song about phone sex. And it was, it was R&B.
Had like, knowing me, I probably had like White Zombie, like Blood, Milk, and Sky or something like that. I always liked that song. What else? I might have had Pantera on there. Yeah.
Walk.
Actually, their remake of Planet Caravan.
Still a classic, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that moody stuff. I used to be a dancer, so I like, I'm real finicky about like certain kinds of music. I'm like, oh, I can dance to that,
Well, that's the thing too. If you're doing that presentation as a dancer, you have to have the right song, the right beat to set the tone for the evening.
Yeah.
I get it. But still great choices nonetheless when it comes to music on that front. I like your style. Like I said, there's a plethora and there's a variety of anything. So I think whatever you've done in your life, Miss Veronica Caine, you're kind of like the proverbial Jill of all trades. And I say that with the utmost sincerity and respect. So keep doing what you're doing, my friend. And if y'all want to check out this fine YouTube channel, it's S&M Network Shows. And if you want to follow me on Twitter /X gonna give it to you. Somebody put on some DMX. It's SM Show 1 or MCL92. And if you're on Instagram, it's Larkin_92 MLarkinMB. And Miss Veronica Caine, do you have any final last words to the peeps, to your fans, to everybody that's been supporting you since day one?
No.
No.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything profound other than just, keep your eye on me because I'm gonna keep surprising you. I think I've surprised people with what I've been doing the last couple of years. I kind of surprised myself, to be honest. And more often than not, I'm going to be probably taking a back seat and trying to push other people to the forefront. Which is kind of what I'm doing, through the bookings that I'm doing these days and stuff. So if it's got She's Hardcore's name on it, check it out because I promise that, I put some heart and soul and, I'm trying to create something that people can enjoy and appreciate. So I appreciate you guys.
Creator of the fine arts and the best representation of her presentation. And with that being said, y'all, all I can say really to end this, not only is life is an art form we're all applying our crafts, paint your canvas and continue to apply it in amazing fashion. But as I always say to end one of these shows, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And she's hardcore. She's a hardcore healer, and she's a badass in her own self. Miss Veronica Caine, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Pleasure.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system, announcing the commencement of the inaugural Wicked 13 tournament, unsanctioned by the US government, Deathmatch weapons of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for ultra-violent use during the tournament. All other weapons are restricted. X-brand officials have been granted immunity from the Wicked tournament and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all deathmatch will be legal for the commencement of the tournament. Blessed be our founding father and America, a nation reborn.
May God be with you all.